I just felt really surprised, mostly because I didn't really expect to win. I thought my essay, what at best was a creative interpretation of the three governments that I mentioned, which is Machiavelli, Plato, and Spinoza. And I was really worried that since the main prompt was about Spinoza, I talked too much about these other governments that weren't really relevant to the prompt. But apparently the professors thought that was actually the key point of my essay, that in such a short amount of time, I was able to talk about three different philosophies and communicate that effectively. And apparently my greatest weakness was my strengths. I was mostly pleasantly surprised. And this is due to the fact that I really like talking, I really like discussing, I really like philosophy and different kinds of ideas and reading. So when I heard that there was something that combined all of that, I was very excited, but I also felt a certain amount of trepidation because, it might just be some boring class that tried to teach me philosophy. But it was an actual discussion. It was actually trying to explore the works of Plato, Aristotle, and all the other philosophers that we've gone through in our various seminars. It was an exploration rather than a one-sided teaching, and that was one of my strongest impressions. And because of that, I was just really pleasantly surprised, and I felt very lucky that I found this seminar. So it wasn't particularly difficult, but if there was one difficulty that I could point out, it would be reading those books. Philosophers really tend to not make their points clear within their writing. They tend to use circular logic, they tend to not really organize their writing. That at first time when I was trying to read those books, I genuinely thought I was just going to give up because it was just so difficult to read. But eventually I got through it and I developed a different kind of reading ability than what I would usually deploy for different kinds of books, and I found out that it was not as hard as it seemed, so yes. There were several main ways that the seminar helped me out. The first of these was my philosophical thinking. The way that philosophers think is quite different from normal people. We question our questions, we question the question of our questions. And that is what philosophers do. We pursue truth, we try to discuss it within our minds, and some of us go insane in the process. That is what the seminar taught me how to do through our long 2-hour discussions that we held every week. And discussing these difficult kind of philosophical books, using that kind of medium really helped me out when I was writing the essay. Especially since what the entire prompt of the essay is to go from this prompt and undergo a philosophical investigation. And I believe that is something to put emphasis on. You're not simply trying to communicate what you know, you're trying to explore. And exploring is indeed the core of the Philop's seminar, or this is what I believe. And the second way this helped, more specific in my context, would be governments. We went through many different kinds of governments from different kinds of philosophers. We talked about Plato's government, we talked about Machiavelli's, Prince, and because of that, I was very familiar on that topic, especially for philosophers. And because of that, when the topic of Spinoza came up, even though I didn't have a widespread knowledge of his books or his work, I was still able to organize a critique and an exploration that compared him with different kinds of philosophers. And I believe that this is a really valid strategy, especially for the philosophy Olympiad. It's impossible or close to impossible or very tough to know every single philosopher that could possibly come out. It is much, much easier to know that you have covered all of the topics within philosophy, like origin of the world or government or the human mind. If you have covered any one of philosophers within these different topics, then at the very least, you are able to write something like I did by critiquing or comparing and contrasting different philosophers, even if the specific prompt philosopher wasn't someone that you knew. So those two things really helped me out. So I have two favorite seminars, one that was majorly because the seminar was fun, and one because of my extreme bias towards Machiavelli. So the first one that I believe was a really good seminar was Plato's Republic. And the reason why I thought that was such a good seminar was because we really discussed deeply into the topic, and I was able to really stretch my wings on the idea, and that was a seminar that I wrote my essay on. And that exploration again really helped me out in the IPO. The second seminar that I really enjoyed was Machiavelli seminar, which is far more recent. And this was not necessarily because the seminar was a deep exploration, but because of my deep and slightly concerning obsession of Machiavelli. Machiavelli's Prince has been one of my favorite books for a while now, and Machiavelli himself and his ideas as a pragmatist, kind of psychopathic ruler was really appealing to me, especially when I had 중이병. So I thought that was kind of amazing, and revisiting that through a seminar such as this was quite enjoyable for me.